Hi, Bowser. I guess we're gonna have Bowser for this. Hi you guys, this week's video is going to be birth and postpartum questions. I was asking you on Instagram, I asked a while back, and then I also just put up another one today asking for your questions. I'm just going to go through some of those and answer them to the best that I can. Did you have to wear your mask during labor? I did not. I had to wear my mask up until I was admitted into labor and delivery. My hospital's rule was that I had to get tested, and also my fiance had to get tested. If we both tested negative, then it was fine to take it off because I'm literally pushing out a human. I didn't have it, he didn't have it. We were all good, so we did not have to wear our masks. What do contractions feel like? Okay, this is such a hard one to answer. I experienced a ton of Braxton Hicks. The real contractions honestly just felt like Braxton Hicks, but like amplified. At first, I really thought that it was just Braxton Hicks, more prodromal labor. I really did not think that I was in labor, but they did start to get increasingly more painful, and they were very close together. Like, it felt like I did not get a break because they were literally every 2 to 3 minutes apart. But sometimes it would start in my back and wrap around, and that was a way that I knew that it was different because it wasn't just my stomach tightening. And the way that I felt a cramping tightness, like a Charlie horse type of feeling in my stomach, that's how I also knew that it was a real contraction. Would you ever do a home birth? Personally, no. I have way too much anxiety, and I'm way too scared of all of the what ifs that could happen. I don't think I could ever do a home birth. What was worse, the contractions or the actual pushing part? I'm gonna have to say the pushing. I don't even know how to describe the way that pushing feels. It's not even that the pushing itself is painful, it's the contractions when you're fully dilated that are so painful. Like, when you have a contraction, you have to push, because if you don't, that's when it hurts really, 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 really bad. Did you get an epidural? If so, how was your experience? Yes, I did get the epidural. My experience was honestly like 10 out of 10. Getting the epidural placed didn't hurt, wasn't that bad at all. Getting the IV in my arm hurt a lot more than the epidural. It wasn't bad. The anesthesiologist talked me through the entire thing. He gave me like a numbing shot before he put the actual epidural in my bag, but he did a really good job. I didn't have any issues with it. I had a 10 out of 10 experience. I highly recommend. I will never give birth without the epidural because that shit hurts so bad even with the epidural, so I don't even want to know what that feels like without it. To all you mamas out there that can do it with nothing, couldn't be me. Couldn't be me. Like, you're literally a warrior in my mind. Like, I couldn't do it. Did postpartum hit you worse than what you thought it would? I'm gonna say yes and no. I kind of expected to have all of the emotions right off the bat. I kind of expected to give birth and then like be hit with a wave of whatever, but it didn't happen for me until like 7 weeks postpartum, and right around 7 weeks, I kind of had this crash, and it's getting better. It's getting a lot better, but I think that postpartum's main problem is that you get so backed up on sleep and you're not giving your body enough nutrition, that your body just does not know how to provide for you in the way that it needs to. I had just at that point gone too long without enough sleep or food. My body was like, take a step back and reevaluate because you need help. At the same time, I still feel like I'm a lot happier overall postpartum than I was while I was pregnant. So that's why it's kind of a give and take, yes and no. How are you finding the motivation to work out postpartum? This is gonna sound super like dark. To be completely honest with you, the way that I find motivation to work out is because when I look at myself in the mirror, I do not like what I see. And whenever I see that and feel that, I have to do something about it. I feel a whole lot shittier if I look at myself in the mirror, hate the way I look, and then continue to do nothing about it and only fuel my body with junk food and things that are gonna make my problem worse. If I can at least just get up for 15 minutes of the day and work out, it's a lot harder to feel bad about your body when you're doing everything in your power to take care of your body. You know you're doing the right things, you know it's a process, you trust the process. Eventually, my body's gonna be where I want it to be again. I'm gonna put in the work because it also helps me a lot with my rage and like releasing all of that energy so that it doesn't come out in a negative way later, if that makes any sense. Basically, my motivation is that I hate myself. No, I love myself. I really do. I'm joking. I'm joking. I love myself, but I don't love my body, and that's okay. You don't have to love your body, but one day I will. What was the best part of your labor experience? Honestly, probably pushing. There are a few things in this world that can make you feel that strong. So many times while I was pushing, I wanted to give up. I did not think I could do it. I really thought that like he was gonna get stuck and I was just gonna be done. Like, I did not think I could do it. And so the second that that baby came out and I saw him and realized that he was real and not just like my imagination, you can't explain it. You really cannot explain it. There is nothing in this world that compares to that, and there's nothing in this world that will ever make me more confirmed in the fact that I can do anything I put my mind to. If I can push a human out of my lady bits, I can do anything. Hardest and easiest part of postpartum. The hardest part of postpartum for me has probably been getting the hang of this whole breastfeeding situation. It has been complicated for so many reasons. The easiest part, that's like honestly a really hard question. I really don't know what the easiest part of postpartum is. I really don't know. I don't have an answer for that, but the hardest part was the breastfeeding journey. Okay, I'm gonna say this question again because the camera stopped recording and I don't know when it stopped recording. How many kids do you want? I want 4. Charles says he only wants 3 max. So we're probably gonna compromise and have 4 because, you know, happy wife, happy life. Worst part of the whole experience, I mean, like overall the worst part of like the whole thing start to finish was pregnancy. Pregnancy was terrible for me. I'm terrified to go through pregnancy again. That shit was awful start to finish. Hated most of it. There was maybe a 1 to 2 month period of it that I was like kind of okay with life. Most of it was miserable for me. I don't know, like every pregnancy is different, so maybe a next pregnancy won't be as bad, but this one was so hard on me, and so I'm scared to go through it again, but I'm going to. What would you do differently with your next pregnancy? I would probably keep things a lot more private. Like I wouldn't share so much of it so early. Like I would probably wait until the 2nd trimester to start talking about things, just because it is so hard to deal with judgment while pregnant. And especially when you're in the public eye and everybody thinks that they have the right to have a say on your life, your decisions. It's hard and your hormones are all out of whack. I had such a hard time with drama during my first pregnancy, and not even just from social media, but like also from like family, friends and stuff like that. Like it was very hard, and so I feel like with the next pregnancy I'm probably gonna wait and enjoy some of it just like me and Charles and Bentley. We're gonna take some time to enjoy it ourselves as a family before sharing it with the world. I don't know. I say that, who knows what's gonna actually happen. How many hours were you in labor for? I started contracting around 9 p.m. on the 20th, and then I went to the hospital around 2 a.m. of the 21st. He was born at 6:56 p.m. on the 21st. It was a while. I don't know, it was a while. Did the contractions feel like period cramps? In a way, yeah, they definitely did. I think that when they first started out, they definitely felt like period cramps. And then as they increased more, it was just like my entire abdomen area was just like not happy with me. I definitely do think that period cramps are kind of a good way to look at it, but like times 1,000. Were you scared to give birth? Yes. Oh my gosh, I was so scared to give birth, and for so many reasons. Halfway through my labor, we thought that I was gonna have to get a C-section because my cervix was closing, and it was a whole thing. So I was terrified for that for so many reasons. But then once my body all of a sudden hella dilated within 15 minutes, then it was a very quick switch in my brain that I was like, oh shit, like I have to push. Like I have to push this baby out now. Like I have no choice. There's no turning back. I have to push this baby out. And that was also terrifying. When you're at home, you know, you're heavily pregnant, 3rd trimester, all of the nerves are building. That's normal. It's okay to be nervous, but your body is designed to do this. No matter what way you end up giving birth, your body is designed for it, and you're gonna do amazing. You're gonna heal amazingly, and it's gonna be great, and you're gonna have your baby to hold, and everything is gonna be so worth it, I promise. Did your water break? My water did not break on its own. My doctor had to break my water. That kind of all still just goes into the fact that like my body went into labor on its own, progressed like halfway, and then my cervix started closing and we started like backtracking. So my doctor broke my water, hoping that that would push things back in the right direction, and it did not. Were you able to eat during labor? I was not, and that was part of what made labor so hard for me, I think, is that I hadn't eaten in so long by the time that I was actually pushing, and so it was just like all around super, super hard. But let me tell you, that first meal after birth, baby, it hit different. It was good. Did you tear? Yes, I did. I got a 2nd degree tear. I have no clue how many stitches I got. Did you bleed after? 100%. I bled up until the 6-week postpartum mark, but it was kind of off and on. How do you talk to your significant other about how you feel after having your baby? You just gotta be open. I mean, like your partner's gonna be able to tell if you're not doing well or if you're not feeling great. But for me, it's honestly really hard to speak my emotions verbally out loud. So a lot of times something that I'll do is when Charles and I are separated, I'll text him about how I feel. And that might sound really stupid, but in my opinion, whatever way you can communicate effectively, do that and start obviously building towards a better way to communicate. But if all you can do is text and type or write a letter because it's hard to say it, then do that because you're still expressing your feelings, and that's what's important. How long till you had sex again? It's been 6 weeks for me, and I don't know if I'm ready. Here's a fun fact. I still haven't. I'm terrified. It's been almost 12 weeks. Yeah, I haven't yet. I'm scared. Take your time. If you're mentally not ready yet, your body is also not going to be ready yet. So just wait until you feel ready and you want to, and then use a lot of lubrication. The scariest part of birth for you and what surprised you during birth? That's gotta be the risk of C-section. I really almost had to have a C-section. I didn't even know that your cervix could start closing in the middle of labor, but it can, and that was just really scary. And they were telling me Bentley's head was swelling in the birth canal, and it was just like all really scary. And I had like a 45-minute time slot between either my body needed to progress on its own all the way to 10 centimeters from 4, or I was gonna have to get a C-section. So it was just really scary. Everything happened so fast. How long was your postpartum recovery? I would say that I honestly started to feel pretty normal around the 3 to 4 week mark, but I was still bleeding some and I was still having all these breastfeeding issues. I would say that now I'm starting to like really feel normal again, other than obviously the fact that my body looks different. Feeling wise, I think I feel a lot more normal now. How long did you push for? I pushed for an hour and 20 minutes. And it felt like maybe 15 minutes. How have you adjusted to motherhood? I feel like I've adjusted well. I feel like I was made for motherhood in a way. Like all I've ever wanted in my whole life was to be a mom, and one of my biggest fears in life was that nobody would love me enough to be with me forever and have children with me. Like I was always so terrified that I was gonna die before I had kids. I definitely think that in a way, like I was just made for this, and I've always wanted this, as I'm sure most people are like that. Was it as bad as everybody makes it seem like? Honestly, no. Like I literally loved my birth experience, and even Charles has said that too, that it was just so fun and we cannot wait to do it again. Like I'm so excited. It's beautiful. Like birth is the most exciting part of the entire process. Like pregnancy is beautiful and there's great things about that too, but birth is like nothing else. How did you know that you had postpartum rage? I think I might have it, but I'm not sure. The littlest things would set me off, and to be totally honest with you, I don't know if it's just my borderline personality disorder or if it is postpartum rage, but regardless, I was having issues with anger, and I think that a lot of it came from lack of sleep. I never would snap at the baby, but I would snap at Charles. Like the smallest thing would happen and I would yell at him, and I would just get so mad. I would want to slam doors and like leave the house because I just like couldn't even bear to be in these 4 walls. I don't know, other than the fact that like I was just so angry all the time. Every last little thing would just make me so mad. Or the second the baby would start crying, it would send me and I would just be livid and I had no patience. Did you tear? Did they cut you? Either one. How was the healing process? Yes, I did tear. No, they did not cut me. That was one of my things. I said, I don't care what's happening. I don't want an episiotomy. Just let me tear. The healing was honestly good, except for the fact that my stitches started to come undone at one point, and that caused me a little bit of pain. I mean, the healing really wasn't that bad. I can't speak for a 4th degree tear, but for a 2nd degree, for me, it wasn't that bad. Tips for dealing with postpartum depression and rage. My best tips is that you've got to find times in the day that are designated to you. You have to find something that's going to be a positive release of energy so that you don't let yourself build up and release your energy negatively. For me, things that really help me feel motivated, feel more like myself, more like a human, less of just consumed in motherhood. It's really important for me to try to get ready as much as I can, even though I'm not going to leave the house. Getting my face on or doing my hair or putting on clothes that I didn't sleep in goes such a long way, and it makes you just feel a lot more whole and complete, put together. It makes you feel better. But when I put makeup on, I'm a lot more likely to wash my face and take a shower because I don't want to sleep in it. A lot of times, if you're a mom, you'll understand that when you do have those 5-10 minutes to yourself, you sometimes don't want to spend it showering. You want to spend it scrolling on TikTok or doing whatever it is that you want to do. So sometimes that also helps me be motivated to take care of my basic human needs. Also, exercising has always helped me my whole life with depression and whatnot. It really helps me just put my energy into a positive space instead of the negative thoughts that can just race in your brain. So it just really helps me stay distracted, keep yourself busy. It's a lot harder to dwell on things if you don't have time to sit there and think about them. What has been the most special part of motherhood? The most special part of motherhood is watching them learn and grow. I swear every day he wakes up to a new skill or just something new, and there is nothing like it. Like it is so wild to watch your baby learn these new things, and it'll be something as simple as grabbing something for the first time and you literally cry. Like it's wild. You're so prideful. You are so proud of your baby for every last little tiny thing. It's insane. It's amazing. I'm so proud of him all the time. I love it. It's the most special thing in the world. Okay, this will be my last one. Are you happy with how birth went? Honestly, yes. In retrospect of everything, I am happy with how it went. It could have gone a lot worse. In the grand scheme of things, it went exactly how I wanted it to. There were some hiccups along the way, but I got to deliver vaginally. I got the epidural, like everything that I wanted wanted out of it. I got to do skin to skin right off the bat. Everything that I wanted out of my birth experience, I got. But I also had some fears along the way, but that just, you know, adds to the story, adds to the memory. And it just makes me that much more proud of myself that I overcame that fear. Everything went really well. Healing's gone really well, of course, also with some hiccups, but everything has been nothing shy of amazing. And I love this baby and this journey, and I cannot wait to expand our family and go through everything again. And I can't even fathom what our family with social media is going to be like by the next time we have a kid. So I've just been so blessed and grateful and overwhelmed with love through the entire experience, and I cannot say thank you enough to all of y'all, because you are a big part of it. The reason that I'm able to stay home with my baby and be a stay-at-home mom and be a full-time content creator and live out dreams that I never thought that I was going to be able to live out. So a never-ending thank you to you guys. I love you so freaking much. Make sure that you like and comment. Make sure that you're subscribed. New videos are every Saturday at 12. I'm hoping that once I get into the swing of things, I can post maybe twice a week instead of once a week, but we're still starting. We're still new to this whole YouTube thing. Let me know what y'all think, if you're liking them, all that shit. I love you guys. Make sure you're following me on Instagram, following me on TikTok. Yeah, I will see you next week.